The haunting of Ravenwood Cemetery. In the small, quaint town of Westbrook, there lay an ancient cemetery on the outskirts, shrouded in mystery and legend. Ravenwood Cemetery, as it was called, had long been the subject of eerie tales and ghostly lore. Generations had whispered about the malevolent spirits said to reside within its gates. The townsfolk knew better than to venture there after dark, but three teens, emboldened by curiosity and a sense of invincibility that comes with youth, decided to test the limits of these legends. The decision: it was a crisp autumn evening when Tyler, Emily, and Jake met at their usual spot, a secluded clearing in the woods near their neighborhood. They were a close-knit trio, having grown up together and shared countless adventures. But tonight, the adventure they were planning was unlike any other. "Are you guys really up for this?" Emily asked, her voice tinged with both excitement and apprehension. She brushed a strand of auburn hair from her face and glanced at her friends. "Of course. What's the worst that could happen?" Tyler replied with a confident smirk. He was the ringleader, always seeking the next thrill. Jake, the more cautious of the three, adjusted his glasses and shrugged. "I don't know, guys. You've heard the stories about Ravenwood. People say it's cursed." Tyler rolled his eyes. "Those are just stories, Jake. Besides, aren't you curious to see if there's any truth to them?" With a mixture of fear and excitement, Emily and Jake agreed. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the town, they set off towards Ravenwood Cemetery. The cemetery gates were rusted and creaked ominously as they pushed them open. A chill ran down Emily's spine, but she brushed it off as the cold night air. The cemetery was vast, with rows of ancient tombstones and mausoleums, their inscriptions worn away by time. "Stick together," Tyler instructed, pulling out a flashlight. Its beam cut through the darkness, illuminating twisted trees and weathered gravestones. They walked deeper into the cemetery, their footsteps crunching on the gravel path. "Look over there," Emily whispered, pointing to a large, ornate mausoleum. It stood out among the simpler headstones, its marble facade glowing ghostly white in the moonlight. They approached the mausoleum, the air growing colder with each step. Tyler pushed open the heavy iron door, and it groaned in protest. Inside, the air was musty and stale. Cobwebs draped the corners, and a stone sarcophagus lay in the center of the room. "Do you think there's anything inside?" Jake asked, his voice trembling. "Only one way to find out," Tyler replied, his eyes gleaming with curiosity. He began to push the lid of the sarcophagus. Suddenly, a cold wind swept through the mausoleum, extinguishing their flashlight. The door slammed shut behind them with a deafening bang. Panic set in as the teens fumbled in the darkness. "Tyler, what's happening?" Emily cried, her voice shaking. "I don't know. Just stay close," Tyler replied, his bravado faltering. The haunting begins. The room grew colder still, and an oppressive silence filled the air. Then, faint whispers began to echo around them, indistinguishable but filled with malice. Emily clutched Jake's arm, her heart pounding. "Who's there?" Tyler called out, trying to sound brave but failing. The whispers grew louder, now accompanied by a soft, mocking laughter. A ghostly figure materialized before them, a woman in tattered clothing, her eyes hollow and filled with sorrow. "You shouldn't have come here," she whispered, her voice like the rustling of dead leaves. The teens backed away, but the apparition followed. "This place is cursed. The souls here are restless and angry," she continued, her form flickering like a candle in the wind. Suddenly, the ground beneath them began to tremble. Skeletal hands burst from the earth, clawing at their legs. Emily screamed, and Jake tried to pull her away, but the hands held fast. "We need to get out of here," Tyler shouted, kicking at the hands. The ghostly woman watched with a cruel smile, her eyes glowing with malevolent delight. The teens fought their way free and ran for the door, but it wouldn't budge. Desperation set in as the whispers grew to a deafening roar, and more apparitions appeared, their faces twisted with anger and pain. "Escape! Try the window!" Jake yelled, pointing to a small, stained glass window near the ceiling. Tyler grabbed a broken piece of the sarcophagus lid and smashed the glass. Emily climbed on Jake's shoulders and wriggled through the opening, dropping to the ground outside. "Hurry," she urged, helping the others through. They ran through the cemetery, the ghostly figures pursuing them, their wails echoing in the night. They reached the gates, which miraculously swung open, allowing them to escape. They didn't stop running until they were safely back in their neighborhood, gasping for breath. Aftermath: the teens never spoke of that night again. They avoided Ravenwood Cemetery, and the once unbreakable bond between them was forever changed by the terror they had experienced. The town of Westbrook continued to whisper about the haunted cemetery, and the legend of the three teens who ventured there on a dare grew with each retelling. And Ravenwood Cemetery remained as it always had been, a place of darkness and despair, where the dead harbored secrets best left undisturbed.